Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of the Till Corner Podcast. We appreciate you guys sticking with us. We appreciate the love. Please like, subscribe, share, tell a friend about us. Keep interacting with us on Twitter. We enjoy all that positive engagement. And yeah, for the fans, by fans, this is our fan base. We were here before these players. We'll be here after these players. We'll die Jaguars. So let's stick together. Let's ride. Kat, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm a little sick. So sorry for how I sound. But other than that, it's doing good. 6-2, 5 straight wins. So I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, doing damn good. We need you off the injury report by the time the bye week is done. So let's get you back healthy.
I'll try.
um, yeah, let's jump into it. Like you mentioned, 5 game win streak, current record 6-2. What do you think about the performance up in Pittsburgh?
I thought that it was a great game. We should have completely like destroyed the Steelers. It should have been like geez, like 30, 40 to like 3. Uh no offense to Pittsburgh, but we turned it over 3 times for you and you still only scored 10 points. So maybe work on that.
But the refs, though,
Yeah, the refs were so bad. Oh my God. I cannot believe that. Okay. Well, first off, I can't believe that Deontay Johnson actually came out and said that in
yeah,
a like seriously, you one of the first drives, I think it was literally the first drive for Pittsburgh,
yeah, no, it was,
it threw him a perfect pass and he didn't catch it. Oh, I
yeah,
I forgot the part where the refs made you not catch the fucking ball. Like, come on, bro. I don't know. That just really irritated me. The fact that people like out of all the teams that the refs are going to call games for. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay. And both teams had 6 flags and we had more yards called. So,
yeah, no,
whatever.
totally agree. Yeah, Luke Farrell with the pre-snap penalties once again. Like, I'm not sure what's going on with him, but he loves the false start. Like Luke Farrell, bro, fix that. But yeah, jumping into the last game, I traveled for this one. Drove up to Pittsburgh. Beautiful drive, by the way, if anyone's ever drove there. Some beautiful foliage this time of year with the leaves and all that stuff. But the people in Pittsburgh were actually like pretty cool. Talked to a lot of people around, around the stadium, around the city before the game. Hotel lobby was crazy. Like, I didn't realize how many Steelers fans don't live in Pittsburgh because every hotel lobby that I walked past in downtown Pittsburgh were all Steelers fans staying at the hotels. So I'm like, well, you clearly don't live here. So pretty big fan base, one of the oldest fan bases in the NFL. So of
Oh
course,
yeah,
they travel well and all those kind of things, right? But
absolutely.
yeah, I was surprised by the amount of non-local Steelers fans that were in attendance for this game. Weird weather, like the day before, started to rain a little bit, right? You saw the forecast, and then the day of it was supposed to pick it up a little bit. It literally like only lightly sprinkled and drizzled until the game started. Soon as the game started, it was like, okay, let's rain now. And I was like, are you kidding me? But it wasn't as
Typical.
heavy as it may have looked on TV though. It was really just like a light drizzle still. Just a little cold with it though. So cold, a little wet, right? Dampen things down, but it stopped raining in the second half. So the second half was crystal clear. I think
Nice.
you saw the Jaguars open it up a little bit in the second half, which you can kind of tell the weather died down. So they started throwing a lot more in the second half. Both teams did, but crazy game from start to finish with the crowd. James Harrison was on the field pregame, getting them rowdy. I mean, that crowd is electric. Like
Oh yeah,
it is.
absolutely.
Yeah, and then of course, like they were so amped up about Trevor's comments about the terrible towel. Like that's all the fans around us was talking about in Section 118. It was like, oh, we're gonna show his ass. Like,
Oh my
ah,
god.
Yinzer boys, and they were going crazy. Like, I don't know. I've been to a couple opposing stadiums in hostile territory, but that was probably not really intimidating, but that was probably the most intense by far. Like every Steelers fan in there had their terrible tower just to make sure Trevor knew that they were in attendance. It was crazy.
Oh man. It's that's so funny because it's just he just described what they were. That's all he did. And that
Yeah.
made people so mad. I was like, guys, you have to remember these are like these are like young 20-year-olds. Like
Yeah.
they're not
Yeah.
always Trayvon Walker said he didn't even know what a terrible towel was.
You got to remember, like Trevor and ETN was born in 2000 or no, 1999.
Oh odd.
So these guys are literal kids.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, getting into the actual game, it started off a little weird, right? Of course, the pregame, all that was fine. And then it kind of started out with some missed opportunities by the Steelers that they just never made up for. Like it might have been the first play of the game was the play action deep shot um to your guy, the wide
Jo-
receiver.
yeah, Johnson. Yeah,
Deontay,
it was.
yeah, Deontay Johnson,
And
yeah.
he didn't catch
And
it. He was wide
right
open.
right off his hand. I mean, I'm not sure what Dewey was doing there, but he was like standing in quicksand and he was way late getting over there. But
Yeah.
that probably would have went for 6 because he's a lot faster than Rayshawn. He
Oh
caught
yeah.
like he hit him right in his hands in between the seams. Like all he would have to do is catch it and outrun Rayshawn. And with
Yeah.
the angle, I don't think he was catching him. So that was a huge momentum swing, like right off the bat, just showed what kind of day it was going to be. But yeah, following that, they didn't get a first down until the second quarter.
Yeah.
Um, the fans were, I mean, they were going off like fire Matt Canada, boo. How are we letting the Jaguars do this to us? I'm like, guys, you clearly don't watch the Jaguars because we're fourth in run defense. Even though our pass numbers may show that we're one of the worst teams in football, you clearly have not been watching because those have been garbage time stats. Darius Williams is playing out of his mind. Buster Brown's been solid for the most part. Trey Herndon's been damn good this year. The safeties have been good with coverage this year. Like, we're not a bad coverage team. Like,
No.
George Pickens might have fooled you guys into thinking this was a hope defense. This is not a hope defense,
Oh
bro. Like,
man. You
that
really pissed
stat is
people
just
off with that
skewed.
one.
How did you feel about that hope defense comment by Pickens?
I thought it was really stupid. Um, I just thought it was a really dumb thing to say. Uh, he's a younger player. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, if you're gonna, talk like that, you gotta back it up, and he wasn't able to. So
Yeah, and it's a lot of comments from the fans about that. Like, oh, well, you guys were doubling him. Of course, he didn't have a big day. Well, we were doubling him, so Deontay Johnson a lot of the time was left 1-on-1 with Buster Brown.
yeah.
Your number 2 receiver can't beat a freaking 6th, 7th round guy from last year.
No.
Come on now. So yeah, I get Pat Fryermuth was out, but you had other weapons there. Najee Harris is not good. He
No.
started out really hot. Obviously the first year ETN had the injury. Those were like the two guys, right? Like if you're going to get a running back in the middle of the late round of that draft, it was Najee Harris versus ETN. Most people were leaning ETN. Some people were saying, nah, probably Najee Harris. The Steelers missed on that one.
Yeah, they did.
ETN is better. ETN is better.
He's so good. I love him.
And did you hear his comments about it after the game too?
Maybe. I don't know. Refresh my memory.
Yeah, so after the game, they interview ETN just talking about the game, and he kind of mentioned the pre-draft process where he knew the Steelers were one of the teams interested in a running back in the first 2 rounds. So he was kind of he knew that was one of the places that he could go. You know, he had the pre-draft meetings and stuff with them, and essentially they passed on him and went with Najee Harris. So he said when he went back there, he wanted to show them what they missed out on, and man, did he have a big game.
You did.
So I think that's crazy that I mean these guys carry chips on their shoulders, but for him to, like bring that up without even being probed or, the reporters pulling it out of him. I think that was something that he took personal in. That passing touchdown that he had, a receiving touchdown that he had was crazy.
It was. Well, that's actually like this is kind of like a different tangent, but is in the realm of what we're talking about. One
Mm-hmm.
of the things that I really like about the team, and I think this a lot of this comes from like Doug Peterson and just being coached
Mm-hmm.
well, is no one every time we go up against an opponent, all of the talk about the other team is always very respectful and
Yeah.
like, oh, they're really good at this, they're doing this well, they're doing this well. There's none of that like, oh, like what George Pickens did. You never give people a reason to want to come in and beat you. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's just no. And that was one of the things like with the 2017 team. They did that. They talked a lot of trash. So, I kind of like that that's not a thing right now. I don't know.
Yeah, that
It's just a better coached unit.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely a well coached unit. You can tell Doug Peterson has a vision and mission around that. Actually, that you say that, there is one person, the Dove, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, like the guy with the little robot looking Avi, Dove Kleeman or whatever on X, who's always
Oh
posting
my
all that
god.
stuff. So every week he's been posting comments from Rayshawn
Sorry.
Jenkins, which I'm not sure where he's getting these comments from because they don't seem to be from like any of the official Jaguars pressers. But he posted a comment before both of these last two games, about Rayshawn Jenkins kind of talking trash. He said that Rayshawn Jenkins stated that, oh, we know that's who Derek Carr is. He's a check down guy, like blah 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 blah. Like
When
I
did he
don't
say
ever
that?
yeah, that's why I was like, when did he say that? But
I don't remember that.
maybe he's texting him or something. I don't know. But I'm gonna dig
Who
into that for the
knows?
next episode. And yeah, and then he went off again. Obviously this time we knew that Rayshawn spoke after the game in the
Oh
pressers
yeah.
and to the media about the George Pickens response. Like we hoped they put up a better fight and that
Well,
stuff.
yeah, and we all knew that that was coming.
Yeah, but Dove is making it's like a whole thread every time of what Rayshawn Jenkins is saying from the Jaguars. I'm like, where is
Oh
he? He must
jeez.
know this guy or something or have an insight.
Oh jeez.
But yeah, Rayshawn talks a little trash, and it's getting published publicly. So we'll see how that goes. But for the most part, everybody else is pretty quiet.
Yeah, he doesn't talk like Jalen Ramsey trash though.
Yeah, that's also true. And Ramsey's back too, but we're not even gonna get into that topic because
No.
that's a sensitive subject.
No thanks.
But yeah, I think the defense in this game was outstanding. Um,
Absolutely.
I think it would have been a little closer had they made that field goal to end the first half, right, with the offside, or yeah, I guess it wasn't the right guard being lined up over the back half of the football.
Yeah.
So that took them out of field goal range. And then the play that they did score the touchdown on was weird to me. Like two missed tackles. I don't really know how that
Yeah.
happened, but whatever. But outside of like those couple plays, the defense was excellent. Like it did a great job holding them. A lot of 3-and-outs. Like that punter was getting worked. and
Yeah.
he was punting so terribly in the weather. Like he was shanking kicks all day and giving the Jaguars good field position. Agnew had a couple okay returns where like he could have broke, but got shoestring tackled or caught at the last second before he got, hit the hole. Special teams was fine. Brandon McManus is a great kicker.
He's great.
Like the dude kicks from beyond 50, and there's no question. Like Riley Patterson, you kind of like, I think he will, but he might
Yeah.
not. Yeah. And then yeah, just the other kickers over the years, following Scobie. Josh Lambo was pretty solid, but ever since Urban Meyer kicked him, it's kind of been a little shaky there. But special teams was solid. Defense was pretty good. How do you feel about the offense?
So this might be like controversial. I thought okay, if Trevor doesn't throw that interception in the end zone, it's a completely no one would have even talked about that. He had an outstanding game. This was one of his best games this season, if
It
not
was.
the best. I mean, he was throwing crazy crap out there. And like part of the like interception in the end zone, it almost just felt like he was like, I can, I can force this to Ridley. And it's like, oh no, no, you can't.
Yeah, and I
But
think really gave up on the route too because it was so covered.
yeah. Like it was a bad decision. He owned up to it. Everyone knows it was a bad decision. But I
Mhm.
mean, if you take that away, the offense, in my opinion, played fantastic. Trevor Lawrence had one of his best games. He looked crazy out there throwing some. It's just like insane seeing some of the throws that he makes. Like, like I'll watch him make a throw, and I'm like, oh no, it's gonna get intercepted, and then
Mhm.
it doesn't because he throws it in the right like exact area that only his receiver can get it, and that like we've never had this before. Like, and I just think it's funny that people are still trying to say that he's not an elite quarterback because it's just at this point it's just you don't know what you're talking about if you're saying that.
Yeah, they just watching the box scores. They don't see a lot of 3+ touchdown games from him. They don't see a lot of 300-yard plus games. I think
Yeah,
he
it's
only
like,
has one game this season over 300. But if you look at a couple of the other ones, they're close, like 290s, 280s. They're right there, 275s and stuff. So
well, and
one
like
of those
also
drop
people that like
passes.
only care about like fantasy.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people who will be like, oh, he's a bust because he doesn't get fantasy points. And it's like, what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah. No, I totally agree. He's not a great fantasy football quarterback. I will give you that. Yeah,
I
he's
don't
not a
care
big
about that.
fantasy guy. And we don't give a shit
I
about
don't
your
care
fantasy
about
team.
that.
No. We want to win real games with the real quarterback who can take care of the ball. A lot of people now are calling him a game manager because they don't see him really going off script as much as he probably was last year. But I think the system is just so much more organized now that they're in year two. They, adding more weapons. He's just running the system as it's designed. I don't know if that makes him a game manager, but I mean, why go off script if you don't really need to? He's getting the ball out quick. He's taking the deep shots when he needs to. He hit a couple. The one where he got a roughing the passer call, he kind of pumped it, threw off his back foot, and still got it to Kirk like 25 yards down the field. That was
That
like,
throw was
bro,
nasty.
that's like a throw maybe only four other quarterbacks can make. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I anyone who tries to tell me that Trevor Lawrence is either like a game manager or not an elite
Mm.
quarterback at this point, you're just telling me that you don't watch any of our games. That's You don't watch the games.
Yeah, no, that's all it is. People don't watch Jacksonville. Um, we seen the full Craig Carthon or whatever on the little FS1 show, Fox show, whatever the hell it is, talking about how he don't trust the Jags and Trevor ain't this and that. Like, bro, shut the hell up. You don't watch the game.
None of
And the
those
guy,
guys do.
no, and the guy was literally saying how the Ravens was the best team in the AFC and because they won a 3-game win streak, and he was like, "Have the Jaguars won 3 in a row, bro?" And the guy was like, yeah, they've actually won 5 in a row." And he was like, "Oh well, oh, well, that's
Oh,
not."
well,
Yeah, he was like, "Well, that's not 3 in a row." Like trying to play it off, like you don't even know what the hell you're talking about. You don't even know what our record is. You don't even know that we have the longest win streak in the NFL. Like, what the hell are
well,
you talking about?
yeah, that's one of like the funniest things. Like if you I will go through like social media a lot and I like look at
Mhm.
stuff, but I won't actually like reply to anything. But one of the funniest things that I've been seeing is so many people who are like the Jags are 6-2. Like no one knows. We're just like the most quiet 6-2 team this year. And it's
No,
like we all
seriously.
know because we're all freaking out, which like is great, but we also have to, win more games. Like starting out 6-2 is amazing, but we need to keep it up.
Yeah, and I don't really have any concerns about that. I mean, we do
I
have
don't
some
either.
tough games coming up, but we also have the Titans twice, which they may have a rookie quarterback going through the rest of the season. Um, we still have the Texans again. We still have a bunch more games that's pretty winnable, so I'm not really overly concerned.
I'm
I
not
think as
either.
long as honestly, the AFC South, I think is the first person to 10. Like I don't think the Titans going to win 10 games this year. I don't think the Colts are going to win 10 games. I don't think the Texans are going to win 10 games. So even, at worst, winning 4 more games will probably win the AFC South. 5, I think, could definitely get you there. If you can get to 11 wins, it's it's a wrap. That's why people
Well,
on these shows saying like, "Oh, the Jags are going to win their division by default because the rest of the division sucks." And it's like, well, I wouldn't say by default. We went out there and earned it. All the teams we beat are 500 or better, besides the Colts, and we beat them twice. So that's why they're not 500 or better.
well, one of the things too is like, oh man. I had a whole thing I was gonna say and I forgot. You keep going and I'll come back to it.
Oh yeah, but
I'm
no,
sorry.
it's just crazy. But Evan
Oh, I
Ingram,
remember.
go for it, go for it.
I'm so sorry. Um, okay, with the way that the Jags are playing right now, first off, it's very clear that the offense can play to a much, much higher like capability than it currently
Mm,
is. So we still haven't even seen like the offense fully in action yet, which I think should like worry people, especially
mm.
with Trevor Lawrence as our quarterback who can kind of just like throw it wherever he wants and like it's crazy. Um but if they keep playing the way that they're playing right now, I'm kind of like in the like wheelhouse of like who's beating us.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of people are saying it, like predict the Jaguar season. I mean, we still have some tough ones,
We
right?
do.
49ers, Browns, Ravens, and Bengals.
Yeah, for sure.
We still have those 4 tough ones. So if you can at least split those and then win the rest, I think that'd be a pretty good season. If you
Yeah.
could come out with only 4 losses, that'll probably get you the number 1 seed. And that's kind of what the prediction was. And they wrote an article today on NFL.com, with Ian Rappaport and all those guys, or Adam Rank, just going over like, are the Jaguars the top team in the NFL or the AFC? And they said legitimately, yes, it's not an overreaction. They currently have the Jaguars as the top team in the AFC because the way they're winning these games, they're winning by 10 plus points
Yeah.
a majority of the time, and they're not even clicking yet. 3 turnovers this game. Were all 3 in the red zone? I know the one. No, Tank Bigsby's was not in the red zone. We were coming. It was close to Mayfield.
That wasn't a fumble, but whatever.
Yeah, and
His
oh
knee
my
was
god,
down. His knee was down.
I had the biggest argument during with those guys in my section during that because they were looking at the jumbotron just going crazy, and I'm like, watch the knee, and they like, oh no, it starts to move before, and then they called it down by contact on the
I
field,
know. And then they
and
changed it.
and then they changed the call on the field.
And the
I
person
was
that
like,
changed the call on the field was the one who was further away from it. I'm like,
I
okay.
was,
But the
I
refs,
was,
the refs were rigging it for the Jags.
yeah, I was like, how often do you see that call on the field gets changed?
It's
That's so
crazy.
rare, especially like by the far line judge, whatever.
Yeah. But people need to cool it on Tank Bixby because like people are acting like he's like so bad. And it's like, okay, first off, his knee was down. Secondly, Trevor threw an interception in the end zone, and Evan Ingram fumbled in the red zone. So it's not like Tank Bigsby was the only person who had a turnover. They were just like giving out turnovers like it was candy on freaking Sunday, and the Steelers couldn't do anything with it. So,
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, if they clean up those mistakes, that should have easily been a 40 burger. Um,
oh, absolutely.
we gave away, I mean, it was first and goal from the 6. I was literally right in front of the team when that happened. The Trevor pick. If we just
So
if we
sad.
just run the ball 4 times there, we score a touchdown.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's make that clear. Like our offensive line was leaning on them. So that's one touchdown off the board. The Evan Ingram shovel pass. We were also in the red zone. I think that was around the 17-yard line. Like if we just get 10 points out of that, that's 30 right there. Driving again, Tank Bixby, whatever, right? Let's clean that up. We were like their defense wasn't really doing anything to stop us.
No.
Like I don't think we punted until what was it, the third quarter? Like close to the end of the game. But
You
yeah,
want to
their
know who had a
defense.
great game? Anton Harrison.
Anton had a good one. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, outside of that one play, he had a pretty good game.
He
I
did.
mean, granted, you're
He,
not gonna hold JJ Watt down, or not JJ, TJ Watt down for 60 minutes. I
oh
mean,
yeah, no.
he's one of the best in the NFL. Eventually, one-on-one, he's gonna get his, but he did a damn good job. And
Although he should have gotten flagged for punching Trevor in the freaking face.
yeah, he should have. And then
That
the
that
Jaguars,
gets me off.
yeah, that was pretty lame. I didn't really catch it in real time, but like in replays after the game, I kind of caught it. Trevor got the ball out quick. The punch was a little after the release, but it was to the head neck area, which they implemented into the rules. But you know, the refs only wanted the Jags to win, so I guess they just didn't call that. Whatever. But yeah. Speaking of the offensive line, that you mentioned, that they were pretty good overall in pass protection. I think Trevor was sacked 3 times.
Yeah.
Two of those was kind of Trevor holding on to the ball, watching those live. Just throw it away, bro. If it's not
Yeah.
there, throw it away. Trevor struggles to do that. You
Yeah,
saw
he
that with
tries
the
to do too much
interception. Like,
sometimes.
if it's not there, throw it away to live another down. Doug Peterson has preached that. I know that's a Doug Peterson philosophy. But for some reason, Trevor can't get that through his head. One of them was close to being a strip sack, so I get he kind of tucked and had to fall.
Yeah.
But one of them, Trevor literally like one read, two read, three read. Like, bro,
Yeah.
throw it away. It's not there.
Yeah.
Throw it at somebody's feet and live to the next down. But they traded for a guard at the trade deadline. How do you feel about Ezra Cleveland?
I feel good about it. I think that keeping the face of the franchise, upright is a big deal. So that's obviously something that they're really caring about. I know a lot of people are like really pissed off that they didn't go for like a pass rusher. Oh my God, I can't talk. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that was funny.
um, but I don't know. I think that part of the problem with that would be that Trent Baalke would be kind of admitting that he didn't pick correctly with Trayvon Walker, which he's not gonna admit that at this point. And Trayvon
Yeah.
Walker has also been playing a lot better than I think people realize.
Yeah.
Um, so I would like to see Trayvon Walker become the player that he was drafted to be. That's personally what I would like to see. And he's not playing badly. People are acting
Mm-hmm.
like he's like awful, and he's not. He's actually having a really good season. And obviously the front office thinks that I don't know. Protecting Trevor is the most important thing right now at this point,
Mm-hmm.
and the defense has been getting it done. So, in their mind, maybe they just think like the defense is good enough, but then there's the people who are overreacting, or like, this means he thinks that we're not going to win a Super Bowl this year. And it's like, that's kind of an overreaction.
Yeah,
But
no, I kind of get the fans wanting to go all in because rookie contract. I'm over here talking like you now. Rookie contract for the quarterback. Um, a lot of people that probably won't be on this team in the upcoming year too, just because of their contracts and age. Brandon Sheriff, Cam Robinson, right? Like we have all of these guys now, so let's push all the chips in the table. Let's pull a Philly move, right? Make some big trades to get to the dance. But yeah, no, I think it's an overreaction. Trayvon's been playing good. Both of the two pass rushers that he was paired with right in that draft. Kayvon Thibodeau has 8 fucking sacks. Which kind of came out of nowhere because he looked very mediocre his rookie year, but he's starting to figure it out. He had a 3 sack game. He's I mean, Kayvon Thibodeau's kind of stepping up right now. He's getting a little hot there. And Aiden Hutchinson has 4.5. Trayvon's right behind him with 3.5. He has more TFLs and a couple other things, right, going the way of Hutch. But I mean, he's getting closer. I think he's been better against the run than both of those
yeah,
guys, especially Thibodeau. So he's been great against the run, and he's getting in there. I think I think he's going to turn the corner eventually. Not sure if he'll ever be like a 12, 13 sack guy, but I think, Trayvon Walker can be that, 9 sack guy and a great run defender, kind of like I don't want to use one of the Bosa brothers, but I mean, he's every good as Joey Bosa at least, so um he's impactful on in the pass game and the run. He's getting some pressures. You've seen he's pushing tackles back into the quarterback lap, affecting the plays. He may not be the big sack number guy, but he's playing well.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so I bought the 2023 Salute to Service Trevor Lawrence jersey. So I want to open it with you guys and let's check out
Yeah.
the new pack.
I want to get a Trevor Lawrence jersey really bad, but the problem is like I feel like every time I get a jersey of a player, they end up being like not good or they like get cut. And then I'm like, but that won't happen with Trevor Lawrence. So I don't know. It looks so good. Nice. Wait, you can't see it. It's blurry.
Okay. Well, I think you guys get the gist of it, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's really nice.
It's a clean jersey.
Yeah, love the patches, love the color. Um, and then I think Ezra Cleveland, um, I think he pushes immediately to be the starting left guard. Ben Barch let go, who entered the season as a starting left guard, which we all couldn't wait for Ben Barch to get back in the lineup after he
I
started
know.
2022 pretty strong. He's gone.
Yeah.
Tyler Shatley's been average. All the analytics and everything will tell you that he's been okay. Um, he gives up quite a few pressures. He's been pretty good the last 2 weeks though, but I think Ezra is just a better left guard. To be honest, he's more talented. He's younger. He's a guy on his last year of his rookie deal. PFF has him graded 8th over like the last year in terms of pass blocking. I mean, if this guy's a top 10, 12 guard, he's going to start on his team.
Yeah.
Especially at left guard where they've had issues for 3 years now. Ever since we got rid of Andrew Norwell, there's been a revolving door at left guard.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he takes over left guard. There was a lot of comments and things out there from reporters, and I reposted some of the stuff from the podcast saying that this guy was a left tackle in college. He potentially wants to go back to left tackle, but also found more interviews from before the start of the season, and he said that he feels like he's a guard now. So I think a lot of that's probably just hearsay, but
Yeah.
if you can get your future at left guard for a 6th-round pick on a guy that's a top 10 to 12 guard, all you have to do is just pay him after the season ends. That's solid. Like Trent Baalke's cooking, man. Last year was
Yeah.
Ridley. This year is Ezra Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like, dare we say Baalke masterclass? I know he hasn't gotten a pass rusher. I know they talked about that being their top priority in the offseason. As soon as the season ended, Doug Peterson said that's one area they could get better at his pass rush. But
Well,
they go for it.
sorry. I do agree that Josh Allen needs help.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much I love Josh Allen if you know me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just seems like I just keep hearing like stuff about how like there were deals that almost happened, but like everything fell through. So it's like what's holding them back? Because like there was even like the one thing that said that they didn't go for Josh Oosh because of like a 4th-round pick, but then they wouldn't have lost one. I don't know. It just didn't make sense. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we have a 4th from the Saints, and I guess they want to hold on to both of the 4ths and give up a 5th. But we have compensatory picks coming back. Expected 3rd for Jawan Taylor. Expect the 6th-round pick too for Arden Key. So we may have just traded for a guard, and then we still get another 6th-round pick from the Arden Key situation. So it was like a wash. So if we get
Nice.
if we get a free starting left guard from this deal, Trent Baalke's cooking. But yeah, we appreciate you guys. Thank y'all for tapping in. Peace.
Thank you. Bye.